Hello and welcome. I'm Miss Heard with Miss Heard Song Lyrics. We're doing Season 4, Episode 195, first ever Creedence Clearwater Revival or CCR Miss Heard Song Lyric. The Miss Heard lyric is, I want to know, have you ever seen Lorraine? And then the correct lyrics is, I want to know, have you ever seen the rain? We're doing Have You Ever Seen the Rain? And I have to tell you, the last time we saw the name Lorraine as a misheard song lyric was way back when I covered it back in Season 3, Episode 132 with Johnny Nash's I Can See Clearly Now. I can see clearly now, Lorraine is gone. So when there's a song lyric of The Rain, it sure sounds like the singer singing Lorraine, all right? Let's dig into this song because I love this song. Have You Ever Seen the Rain is a song written by John Fogerty and released as a single back in 1971 from the album Pendulum in 1970 by American rock band Creedence Clearwater Revival or CCR. So let's talk about John Cameron Fogerty first. He was born on May 28, 1945, so his birthday is just around the corner. And he is an American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He was with other bandmates by the name of Doug Clifford, Stu Cook, and his brother Tom Fogerty, which founded the band Creedence Clearwater Revival, or CCR. And in it, of course, he was the lead singer, lead guitarist, and principal songwriter. They had 9 top 10 singles and 8 gold albums between 1968 and 1972, and of course was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 1993. However, they did part ways back in 1972, and John Fogerty had a successful solo career, which still continues today. He was listed in Rolling Stones magazine's list of 100 greatest songwriters at number 40, and the list of 100 greatest singers at number 72. His songs include Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising, Fortunate Son, Green River, Down on the Corner, Who'll Stop the Rain, Centerfield, and The Old Man Down the Road. And I had mentioned earlier that his older brother, Tom Fogerty, was also part of the band. Well, at some point in the 1980s, he underwent some back surgery and was given a blood transfusion that was not screened for HIV. This caused him to become infected with the virus and unfortunately resulted in him contracting of AIDS alongside his multiple complications with tuberculosis, all which eventually led to his death back on September 6, 1990. So he has passed away since then, about almost 31 years ago. Now, the sad thing is they were not able to reconcile prior to Tom Fogerty's death. A July 22nd, 2019 article titled The Sad Story of Tom Fogerty's Death was written by Rafael Polcaro. In the article, it states, quote unquote, at some point in the 1980s, after moving to Scottsdale, Arizona, he, meaning Tom Fogerty, underwent surgery for his back. An unscreened blood transfusion caused him to be infected with HIV. It led to his death, officially of tuberculosis, on September 6, 1990, at the age of 48. Wow, young. Tom and John barely reconciled before Tom's death. In the eulogy that he made at Tom's funeral, he said, we wanted to grow up and be musicians. Also, I guess we achieved half of that, becoming rock and roll stars. We didn't necessarily grow up. Wow. Also, after Tom Fogerty's death, a music compilation titled The Very Best of Tom Fogerty was released. And in addition, he was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1993 as a member of the Creedence Clearwater Revival. So sad there. So let's dig in with CCR. So it was an American rock band formed in El Cerrito, California, which surprised me. I thought for some reason they're from the South because the way their songs sound like from the Bayou and what have you, I just assumed the South. And of course, it consisted of lead vocalist, lead guitarist, and primary songwriter John Fogerty, his brother, rhythm guitarist Tom Fogerty, bassist Stu Cook, and drummer Doug Clifford. And these band members actually played with each other since 1959, first as the Blue Velvets and later as the Gollywogs, before settling into the name Creedence Clearwater Revival in 1967. So how come the name changed? So the story goes, back in 1967, a Saul Zaentz, who bought Fantasy Records, offered the band a chance to record a full-length album. He hated the name, the Gollywogs, from day one. So the band themselves decided on their own name, and they went with Creedence Clearwater Revival, or CCR, which they took in January of 1968. So what does that stand for? stand for. So according to interviews with band members throughout the years, the names elements came from three sources. Tom Fogerty's friend, a Creedence Newball, whose name they changed to form the word Creedence. So his name was spelled Creedence. They changed it as Creedence, Creedence, as in Creed. And then the second part with the Clearwater, they actually got it from a television commercial for Olympia Brewing Company, which is close to my neck of the woods in the northwest part of the United States, called Clearwater. And then the fourth member renewed commitment to their band, which is the Revival. So hence the Creedence Clearwater Revival new name. So there you go. Rejected contenders for the band's new name included Muddy Rabbit. So they could have been Muddy Rabbit. They could have been Gossamer Wump. That's interesting. They could have been Creedence Newball and the Ruby. However, the last was the starting point from which the band derived their final name, which is, of course, Tom Fogerty's friend, Creedence Newball. All right. And then Cook described the name as weirder than Buffalo Springfield or Jefferson Airplane. And then in early 1968, the band began appearing regularly at local San Francisco area clubs and venues, including Dino and Carlos, the Avalon Ballroom, and the Fillmore West. Later that year, the band began touring nationally across the U.S. and made their first appearance in New York City at the Fillmore East. Now, back in 1968, what was the song that got him, discovered, essentially? So, AM radio programmers around the U.S. took note when CCR's cover of the 1956 rockabilly song, Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q, baby, I love you, Susie Q, received substantial airplay in the San Francisco Bay Area and on Chicago's WLS AM. So let's talk about Susie Q for a second. So Creedence Clearwater Revival released their cover of that in their debut album in 1968. The band's only top 40 hit not written by John Fogerty. It peaked at number 11 for 1 week in November of 1968. The song was their first big hit. The album version clocks in at a whopping 8 minutes and 37 seconds, and then the single is split into parts 1 and 2 on its A and B sides, respectively. The jam session during the coda is omitted in part 1. Instead, it fades out with the regular guitar solo right before the coda, which fades in with part 2 on the B side. Fogerty plays the main riff from Smokestack Lightning after the second verse, so different variations. And then Fogerty told Rolling Stone magazine back in 1993 that he recorded Susie Q to get the song played on KMPX, a funky progressive radio station in San Francisco, which is why it was extended to 8 minutes. Very smart on his part. And then the CCR version of the song was first certified gold by the RIAA on December 13, 1990 for 500,000 copies shipped, and platinum on May 10th, 2019 for 1 million copies in sales and streams. So it just kept going all the way from the 60s to now. And again, it was the band's second single, its first to reach the top 40, number 11. And its only top 40 hit, again, not written by John Fogerty. So that was pretty cool. The other two singles were released from their May 1968 debut self-titled album. They did a cover of Screaming Jay Hawkins' I'll Put a Spell on You at number 58. And Porterville, released on the Scorpio label with writing credited to a T. Spice Bush Swallowtail. Love that name. Written during Fogerty's time in the Army Reserve. All right, so back to the band. So the band's most prolific and successful period, I would agree, was from 1969 and 1971 and produced 14 consecutive top 10 singles. Okay. Many of which were double A-sides and 5 consecutive top 10 albums in the U.S., 2 of which were Green River in 1969 and Cosmo's Factory in 1970 reached number 1. Did you know that the band actually performed at the 1969 Woodstock Festival in upstate New York and was the first major act signed to appear? That's pretty cool, part of that history. Now, for the sad part, is the disbanding of CCR. So in late 1972, after 4 years of chart-topping success and hits, Tom Fogerty had left the previous year and John was at odds with the remaining members over matters of business and artistic control, all of which resulted, sadly, in lawsuits among the former bandmates. So what happened is John Fogerty's disagreements with Fantasy Records owner Sal Zentz led to more court cases, and then he just refused to perform with the 2 other surviving members at Creedence Clearwater's 1993 induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's sad. Though the band has never officially reunited, John Fogerty continues to perform CCR records or songs as part of his solo act, while Cook and Clifford have performed as Creedence Clearwater Revisited since the 1990s. So CCR's music remains a staple of the U.S. classic rock airplay. 28 million CCR records have been sold in the US alone. The compilation album Chronicle, the 20 Greatest Hits, originally released in 1976, is still on the Billboard 200 album chart and reached the 600 week marks in August of 22. So just recently, it has been awarded 10 times platinum. Now, again, with the song that we're talking about today about Have You Seen the Rain, it actually charted the highest in Canada. I thought more so in US. Reached number 1 on Canada's RPM 100 National Singles Chart back in March of 1971. How did it do in the US? It did pretty well. It peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 Singles Chart. And then in the UK, on their Cashbox Pop Chart, it peaked at number 3. Sorry, on Kosh. Let's do this again. So in the U.S., in the same year, it peaked the number 8 at Billboard Hot 100 Singles Chart. On Cashbox Pop Chart, it peaked at number 3. Now in the U.K., it reached number 36. It was the group's 8th gold-selling single, and in March 2023, the song surpassed 1 billion streams on Spotify. So just a couple months ago, this year of 2023, 1 billion streams. Wow, wow, wow. And Cashbox said the group softens their sound and the song comes as close to a ballad as anything from CCR. I would agree. And John Fogerty actually released a live version of the song on his The Long Road Home in concert DVD, which was recorded at the Wiltern Theater back in Los Angeles, California on September 15, 2005. And there is a music video which was released for the band's 50th anniversary on December 11, 28. Now, interesting pop trivia is when you look up the video of the song, there's the original, there's no video per se, but there's just the song, and then there's a newly made video in 2018 that includes a new video that was created for the song. I guess it was the 50th year, so they wanted to remaster the songs itself, and they made a video, and in the video is a famous son played by the son of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid, and he looks just like his dad. So check it out. So interesting, because I was so confused, oh, there's a new video there. And the video gist is 3 friends that are, going to, I think their 20s, and they're starting to start their lives, and they're, spending one quick night at a tavern, sleeping under the stars, just reminiscing before their lives take them to different parts of the crossroads that they have to deal with. So really good video. Check it out. And again, it's not about Lorraine. Lorraine showed up again. It is Have You Ever Seen the Rain? If you have any great suggestions like this misheard song lyric, please send it to any of our sites, Insta, Facebook, Twitter, even though I don't really know how that works. Or you can just send us an email at misheard, that's MISSHEARD songs @gmail.com. Till then, keep singing the songs wrong. Bye.